Hi everyone, I'm Tammy, the creator of the blog and this YouTube channel called Nutmeg Notebook, and this is where we share with you all about our whole food, plant-based lifestyle. So welcome today. I'm so happy to have you here. Today we are going to do a Q&A. You get to ask the questions and I will try to answer them. Anything about weight loss, plant-based, health, just go ahead and put it in the chat. So, Tom, you got to turn the volume down. I'm hearing myself. Woo! Doesn't your own voice sound really weird to you when you hear it coming back at you? So, a little bit of housekeeping. We should have moderators in the house. Randy and Jesse are here. So thank you so much for helping us. We could not do this without them. They are in the chat. They help answer your questions. They are extremely knowledgeable, and we just appreciate you ladies being here to help us out today. If you want to ask a question, if you could preface that question in the comments with 3 question marks, type your question and end with 3 question marks. My husband Tom is on the computer moderating, and he will look for your questions and then he can relay them to me. And why do I have food here, you might be wondering? Well, these are my wonderful po nachos. I think Tom's going to run around and try to do a little close-up on these. So if you are on our newsletter list, if you get our newsletter, then you know that we did a Amazon live today, and we just got done doing that like 15 minutes ago, and I made these po nachos, and we demonstrated the Ninja Foodie air fryer and made these. So, and this is one of my favorite meals. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you're probably sick of seeing a photograph of these, but this is actually one of my favorite dinner meals, is to make the po nachos. So it's air fried potatoes. This one has black beans, seasoned black beans, the chipotle nacho cheese sauce, cilantro, green onions, and homegrown little tomatoes that Tom grew himself. And so super easy and delicious, and you can watch the replay if you want to over on Amazon Live. And it's something new that Amazon's doing, and they invited us to participate. They saw some of our videos and liked them and asked us if we would like to make some live videos over there. So it's pretty fun for us. So that is the po nachos. I'm actually going to hand these off to Tom, and he's going to set them over on the table.
Hello, I'm going to get rid of these now. So yes, I'm over to the side here monitoring the chat along with our moderators. My role is to find questions and get them to Tammy. So Jesse already reiterated to do the question marks. Thank you.
Great. And I just see Aaron, go ahead and do that. And I'll say, I just saw that Aaron wrote, still find it hard to believe I can lose weight on starches and beans. Of course, veggies too. Yes, isn't it amazing? I mean, it's just like, oh, because we've all been duped into thinking that the starches are keeping us from losing weight, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The starches are helping us to lose weight. So thanks everybody for being here today. This is great. We only had a couple of emails come in ahead of time, so if you do have questions for us, please put them in the chat and we'll discuss them. I have gotten emails over the past month or so from people who are struggling a little bit. So we thought doing a weight loss Q&A or just plant-based Q&A could be helpful for people right now. This is actually, and I talked about this, we do a live Facebook live walk and talk on Sunday mornings. And we were really early today. It was like 6:15 because it's so stinking hot here. And so we headed out really early. But I talked this morning to our group that we had on there all about how this is such a great time of year to get it right. So if you are struggling and trying to lose weight, or you're trying to improve your health and you need to clean up your diet, start doing it now, because this is an amazing time of year. The fresh produce right now is incredible. And when it's really hot, this is a good time to eat lightly. And so it's a great time to get started. If you start now, by the time the holidays roll around, you will have your healthy habits well established, and you will be able to easily get through the holidays. And this time of year, because we tend to eat lighter in the summertime, and the produce is so amazing and fresh and flavorful, this is a great time to neuro adapt. There's not another holiday coming up, unless of course you want to help celebrate my birthday on July 23rd. But other than that, we've got Mother's Day, Father's Day, July 4th, Memorial Day. That's all out of the way. So we don't have another big holiday until Labor Day. So you've got plenty of time between now and Labor Day to really focus on you and your healthy habits and choosing wisely for every meal. And I always tell people, do the next right thing now. Do the next right thing now. Don't wait until tomorrow or next week or next month. Do it at the very next meal. So we have the opportunity to make it right every time we sit down to eat. So if breakfast didn't go as you had planned, if you already blew it, that's okay. You don't have to blow it at lunch or dinner. And if you make lunch a healthy lunch, then in a simple 24 hours by lunchtime tomorrow, you will have had a whole day, a whole 24 hours of eating healthy behind you. And stack that up. When you start stacking those days, those good days up, then it just gets easier and easier. And your internal audience that Dr. Doug Lisle talks about just gets happier and happier with you, and that builds your confidence. It builds up your esteem, and it just makes it easier. So I love to listen to NPR, National Public Radio. On Sunday mornings, the Hidden Brain podcast is on, and I absolutely love it. I am fascinated with how the brain works and how that affects everything that we do and our behavior. And this morning it was such an interesting podcast. It was called You But Better, and it was with he had a guest speaker on, a behavioral scientist. Katy Milkman was on. She wrote a book called How to Change, and it was fantastic. So wherever you listen to podcasts at, try to listen to You But Better, the Hidden Brain podcast. I listened to it on NPR. So I took some notes, and it was fascinating. So she said to think about all the things that you want to change, but you give up on after a few weeks. And certainly that could apply to people who make New Year's resolutions. It could be about weight loss, or maybe making healthier food choices. It could be about saving money, exercising more. It could have been all kinds of things. And we have to stop and think about, well, why did I give up on that? Why didn't I keep it going? And she talked about how we are a society that is driven by instant gratification. So if you think about it, with credit cards, we can buy absolutely almost anything and have immediate gratification. We don't have to wait for it. We don't have to work for it. We can go ahead and get what we want now. I remember back in the day, I'm going to age myself here, but do you guys remember layaway plans? Yeah, layaway plans. Before Tom and I got married, we had this really, he had an expensive table already, and we wanted to add chairs to it. And so at Ethan Allen, which was a hoity-toity furniture store, we put some chairs on layaway and paid for them over time, so that by the time we got married, we had additional chairs to go with the dining room set that he had bought. And so, we had to wait for it. We had to work for it. We didn't get immediate gratification. So So we've kind of gotten to a habit where we feel entitled, that we should always get what we want when we want it. And there's a nice little saying, and I may not have it exact, but it says, don't give in to what you want in the moment instead of what you really want. And the way I apply that to my healthy lifestyle is, I'm not going to give in to the craving or someone offering me something that's unhealthy for me to eat, or maybe it is healthy, but I'm truly not hungry. Because if what you really want is to lose weight, then you have to wait for it, right? You're not going to be able to have instant gratification. You have to be able to know that it's out there, it's dangling in front of you, it's a carrot, it's dangling in front of you, and it's incentive for you to keep making the right choices along the way. And if you give in to eating when you're not hungry, if you give in to cravings for foods that are not going to help you get to your ultimate goal, then you're just defeating yourself and you're going for that instant gratification instead of the long-term pleasure. And so I always like to remember that those moments of instant gratification are fleeting. So that food in my mouth only gives me pleasure for seconds, maybe minutes, and then it's gone. And then afterwards, I'll have guilt or resentment or be upset with myself, disappointed with myself, because that's not fitting with what my goals are. Because maybe your goal is to lose weight. Maybe it's to reverse some health issues. So you want to have the behavior that's going to help you achieve those goals. So you might want to ask yourself, is that, high sugar, high fat, or high calorie density sweet treat, is that really what you want? Is that going to help you get to your goals? Because you could have some fruit that would satisfy you and not set you up for craving more, and it would help you achieve your weight loss or your health goals. So the behavioral scientist, Katy Milkman, in the podcast I was listening to, says that studies and observations show that people make changes when they have what she called chapter breaks. And I really like that, chapter breaks in their lives. So a chapter break, it can be something as simple as Monday morning is a chapter break because the weekend's over and the old week is over and a new week is beginning. It could be a new month, the first day of a new month. It could be the new year. It could be you moved. It could be you started a new job. It might be your birthday. That's a transition, a chapter break for a lot of people. I know it certainly was for me when I turned 50. It was like I was like hyper aware that I'm getting older and my time on this earth is probably limited and I really need to get my act together and be as healthy as I can be because I was looking down the road at my long-term goals. And my long-term goals are to live a long but healthy life because I don't want to live a long life if I'm not healthy or if I'm a burden to my family. So it could be a holiday. Maybe, there's a specific holiday that is a chapter break for you. It could be a marriage. It could be a divorce. It could be having children. It could be an empty nest when the children leave and go away. So the studies and observations show that when you have a chapter break in your life, that is something that prompts people to want to make a change. So you don't have to wait for a big event. It could be that tomorrow is Monday, and that is the start of a new week. And if you were to start tomorrow to be healthy, well, actually, I would want you to start at your very next meal. And if that's dinner, if you haven't had dinner yet, then I would want you to choose the next right thing at dinner time. But if you were to start tonight at dinner time or tomorrow, then a year from now, you will be so grateful that you started you will be so grateful, because time is going to pass whether you make good decisions or bad decisions. Time is going to pass. And so why not make the best of that time by making the best choices for yourself? Another fun thing that she said was to pick the most fun way to achieve your end goal. And so, you know, a lot of people give up. Let's say they decide they're going to start exercising more, and so they join a gym, and you know, then they find 50 excuses why they're not going to join or go to the gym. So, or they get bored with it or what have you. She says, choose the machine or the class that you hate the least. If you really don't like going to the gym, then choose the thing that you hate the least. Or you could sign up with a friend for a class or a sport, or, you know, tennis lessons or whatever it might be. If you're not the gym kind of joining person, which Tom and I are not, we joined a gym when we were first married. It was one that was under construction, and then the whole deal fell through. We had paid for our membership, and they never opened. And so I don't know if it was that really turned us off on joining a gym or what, but we never joined another gym after that. So, I love walking. I absolutely love walking outside. And so, I mean, I have a big fancy treadmill, and I hate to have to get on that big fancy treadmill because I love being out in nature. And so I try to walk every day, 4 miles, rain or shine, unless it's like really blustery. But I will go out and walk because I love that. And so that is something that I can do. And so when I first started, I was really slow and I could only go 20 minutes, and then I just built on that. And I started, you know, extending the amount of time that I went. And then when I got up to like an hour and 5 or 10 minutes, then I thought, well, I don't need to spend any more time doing this. So then I worked on my speed and just increased my speed. And I love that. It makes me feel good, and I look forward to it every day. Also, she talked about something called temptation bundling. Isn't that interesting? Temptation bundling. What is that? Yes, Tom.
Can we reiterate the author, the book title she's quoting
yes.
from? Who is this?
Katy Milkman, Milkman.
Okay.
Katy Milkman, and her book is How to Change.
How did she spell Katy?
Katy. Milkman. Like milkman. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the name of the book is How to Change. Oh, it was she told so many stories, and
okay, I will go ahead. Yeah, I guess I am on camera. I'll go ahead and drop that into, I'll grab an Amazon link and I'll put it in the show notes. How about that?
Great.
So I'll get busy and get that done. So when you refresh, you'll see it there. So anyway, yeah,
okay.
we were trying to remember who we were talking with there.
How to Change by Katy Milkman. So she said temptation bundling. So what is that? That is when you connect something that you do like with a task or a chore that you don't like. And that way you will look forward to doing that task because there will be a reward for you. You know, we are all functioning because we are hardwired to seek out pleasure. And that's where when we do something that gives us pleasure, we get a dopamine hit, which is a hormone that makes us feel good. And so if you put an attach to an activity that you don't like, something that you do like, then you will get rewarded for doing it, and you'll get, you know, double reward because you're going to get the dopamine hit, and you're going to get, you know, your exercise in if you choose to attach something to that. So let's say you can make a deal with yourself that you only get to listen to audiobooks when you're exercising. So maybe when you go for a walk, or you go to the gym and you get on the treadmill, or you work out, do a resistant training class. Then you can listen to your audiobook on your earbuds while you're doing that. So you get two things. You get rewarded. You get to hear the book that you've chosen, and you're going to feel good at the end of that session because you got to listen to the book. And if you're listening to like a novel, then you'll want to go to the gym or do your exercise because you're going to want to hear the next chapter. You're going to want to know what's happening in the book. And then you're also going to get the benefit of having exercised, which is going to please your internal audience. It's going to make you healthier. And people who get stronger physically are also stronger mentally, and that will help you make better decisions when you are choosing your food that you're going to eat. So you could listen to a favorite podcast, or I love to watch YouTube videos, or at least have them on while I'm batch cooking, because it's a way for me to get caught up on some YouTube videos that maybe I want. Or I can watch a recorded TV program, but I'm not sitting because I don't have a lot of time to just sit and watch TV, but I can have it on while I'm being productive. And so I get a double reward then, because I feel really good that I got to watch the program or the YouTube video that I've been wanting to watch. And I also am being productive because I'm batch prepping food, which helps me have a stress-free week because I don't have to worry about what food am I going to eat. So you can do it, like I love to do that when I'm cleaning house as well, or I'll talk to a friend. I'll put my earbuds in and talk to a friend while I'm cleaning house, or talk to my mom, who is a friend. You also need to think about, yes.
I did put the link for how to change the science of getting from where you are to where you want to be. Curiously enough, the hardcover right now is less expensive than the paperback.
Oh, wow.
So I put the link to the hardcover, which is the lower price of the two by just a couple dollars. So anyway, that is in there and that's done, and that's why it's hardcover, because it's on sale right now.
Because it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's 29% off right now for some reason. So anyway, that's what I did. Now back to Tammy.
So Katy Milkman, the author of How to Change, said, think about what you can do to make life better for your future self. So I'm going to say that again. Think about what you can do to make life better for your future self. I love that. So, one of my motivations for getting healthy, getting my cholesterol under control, adopting a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and losing weight, and getting Tom and I on a path of optimal health was because I had seen what happened to elders in our family, and we didn't want to repeat that. We didn't want that to be our destiny. And we also don't want to be a burden on one another or on our children from lifestyle-related diseases that could be prevented. And so that is how we were thinking about how to make life better for our future self, because we don't want to age and be ill. We don't want to spend all of our time at doctor's appointments and having medical procedures. And, we have far too much that we want to do, and plans with our grandchildren and our adult children and our son-in-law. And, there's so many things we want to do that we are not going to allow health issues to that we can prevent to be standing in our way of that. So, we make a lot of sacrifices now that will help our future self. So just think about your retirement account. We have 401k retirement accounts, and people start saving in their 20s when they get out of college and start a job, and that is future planning for your future self, because you want to end up being able to retire at a decent age when you still have the health and the physical attributes to be able to do and pursue whatever it is that you want to do and pursue in retirement. And it's nice to have a nest egg that you can do that with. And so it's also getting healthy, getting your weight under control, getting your health under control is a gift that only you can give to your future self. And it's not about just you either. You're also doing it for your loved ones. It is a very selfless act to decide to take care of yourself so that you won't be a burden on your significant other or on your children or your relatives who would end up having to care for you. And so, you have to think about it's really not a sacrifice. Giving up certain foods is really not a major sacrifice. Giving up your healthy life, giving up your mobility, having to spend your money on doctor visits and co-pays and medication and all of that, you know what? That's a sacrifice. When you're doing that, you're sacrificing a lot of enjoyment that you could be having in your life. And so I kind of feel like we have to reframe things. And so one important thing that if there's any giveaway that any takeaway today that I give you, I hope it's that you will change up your environment. And there's that old saying, fail to plan, plan to fail. That could not be truer when it comes to weight loss and having a healthy lifestyle. So only you can do that. You have control. There is so much that we don't have control over in our lives, but what we put in our mouth, we do have a lot of control over. And so if you have an environment that is set up for success, that Doug Lisle says that is like the most important thing that you can do for yourself when you are trying to change your eating habits, is to have your environment set up for success. Because everything in your environment, and I've said this before, is like an advertisement for you. So when I look at my kitchen table, I have 2 bowls of fresh tomatoes sitting there. I have a bowl of fresh apricots, and I have a bowl of peaches. On the counter over here, I have a bowl of bananas and plantains. When I open up my refrigerator is full of healthy food. So at every point that I go to in my environment, I am faced with healthy options for me that are going to help me succeed. And I intentionally batch prep food to get me through the week. So I went to the grocery store on Saturday morning. Was it Saturday? Wow, this week has flown by. I went to Costco on Friday, and I went to Whole Foods on Saturday morning to get the rest of the items that I needed to make my salads. And I came home, put everything away, and it was like 11:30, and instead of making lunch, I got everything out to make my salads, and I batch prepped 14 salads for Tom and I to help us get through this week, because we have a very hectic schedule coming up starting tomorrow. And I know that in order for us to eat a salad every day, they have to be made ahead of time. And even when we're super busy or stressed, especially I should say, when we are super busy and stressed, that is when we really need to be eating the most nutrient-dense food that we possibly can, because we need to be feeding our bodies the nutrients that it needs to help us cope with the stress that we have. And when we're super busy and we don't have time to cook, we are hardwired to seek out the highest calorie density food for the least amount of effort. And that's really difficult to overcome if you have not set yourself up for success. So that's one of the things that you can do, is you can prepare food so that you have healthy food ready to eat. Then there's no excuse. There's no reason for you to stop at fast food or the vegan restaurant on the way home from work, because you know that you have healthy food at home to eat. And it doesn't have to be lavish and complicated recipes. It can be simple as having frozen corn, canned beans, and some frozen vegetables that you can put all together and heat up and make a meal inside of 10 or 15 minutes. So it doesn't have to be complicated and it doesn't have to be fancy. So the easier you make it to eat healthy, the healthier you will eat. I'm going to say it again. The easier you make it to eat healthier, the healthier you'll eat. So I always tell people, if your refrigerator's full of healthy food, guess what? You're going to eat healthy food. So, and I think that's all I had to say about that. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about that. I want to know, like, how many of you saw the Beet? I think Chef AJ did a special this morning about kicking the sugar habit. So I didn't get to watch it because we had a very busy day, but I did see that she is offering everyone for $1. You get to join her Feel Fabulous Over 40 group for 30 days for $1. And that gives you access to all of her materials, she has a thing called the Vault, where you can look up, you can ask questions, you can plug in a question, and every video where she has addressed that question, it will come up and you can watch it. It has recipes, there's food plans, there's all kinds of things there, and there is a private Facebook group that you get to belong to, and you even get to stay in the Facebook group, I believe, after the 30 days, even if you don't go ahead and join her Feel Fabulous Over 40 program. So I would highly recommend doing that, as well as, do I have her book here?
It might be in your office.
It's probably, nope, here it is. So I would buy this book if you are stuck and need some help. And I would get this book as well. So this is full of her entire program, the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. And no, she did not ask me to mention this in this video. She has no idea that I'm talking about her unless she's on watching. But this program, the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, is the program that got me over the yo-yo dieting. So I had yo-yo dieted for almost 4 decades.
And that's now morphed into Feel Fabulous.
And now she has the Feel Fabulous Over 40 group. And so this lays out what the whole plan is, as well as there's a bazillion recipes in here. And then this is a nice companion book. And I actually have recipes in this one. I think I have 7 recipes in this book as well. So these are all SOS-free recipes. It's an SOS-free plan, which stands for salt, oil, and sugar. And you know, that little trifecta is the little trifecta that gets us in a lot of trouble. And so I would highly recommend at least purchase this book and get started on a wonderful weight loss plan, or go over and join Feel Fabulous Over 40 for $1 for 30 days.
And both of those books are in the Amazon.com/shop/Nutmeg Notebook. Go to the book idea, the book section. You'll find both of those books in there. Since you're talking about salt.
Yes.
Ronan has a question about, well, let me just quote here, or read the quote. Can
Sure.
you talk a bit about going salt-free, please? Do you use miso, which Dr. Greger says is okay? How long do I need to go cold turkey for in terms of leaving salt behind? And I think maybe how long after you stop eating it do you then stop missing it so much, and with regard to the cold turkey comment?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on how much sodium you're into before you started to transition. So, you know, like Tom used to use the salt shaker on every bite. It drove us crazy. We would set a salt shaker by his plate at the dinner table because he needed to salt, like if he was eating back then meat, every bite of meat he would salt. And so it depends on how dependent you are on it. So the problem with salt is it can lead to stomach cancer. It definitely contributes to hypertension, so high blood pressure. And it also causes people to passively overeat. So, and you can test that yourself. You can, do mashed potatoes with salt, mashed potatoes without salt, and have them side by side. And, the salty mashed potatoes you are going to want to eat more of, because that salt is going to stimulate your appetite. And so, and all of our natural food has the enough sodium in it for us. We don't need to be adding sodium to it. And miso is very high in sodium, although I believe on Dr. Greger's website you can watch the videos, and they've done tests and they know that the miso, which is a fermented product that is high in sodium, it does not seem to have an effect on blood pressure like straight table salt does. So there is a benefit to that. I have not been in the habit of using miso. There are some recipes that call for it. So I would say that if you're trying to lose weight, it would be good just to go cold turkey and get off the salt, because it will cause you to passively overeat. And how long it's going to take to neuroadapt can be anywhere from like 30 days to 120. It kind of depends on how much sodium you rely on right now in your food. And so certainly for the first couple of weeks, things aren't going to taste as good to you. But some people wean off slowly. The trouble with that is it just prolongs the agony, right? At some point, you just have to give it up. And so I just gave it up all at once, and there's wonderful salt substitutes that you can use. So there is a brand called Benson's Table Tasty, and you can purchase it from Amazon, or you can go directly to Benson's Table Tasty website. And then our friends Dylan and Reeves from Well Your World, that's Well Your World, and I believe we have a link in the show notes to their products. They have, I think, 3 different seasonings, 4 now, that don't have salt. So Tom loves the one called Stardust. They also have a new one that just came out. We haven't tasted it yet, but they also have a no salt everything bagel seasoning and a Fiesta that is like chili powder and spicy, that is a no salt.
Oh, Reeves just showed up.
Oh, Reeves just showed. Well, Reeves, did you hear me talking about you? And they have a wonderful line of SOS-free products that you can use that can be very helpful in transitioning off of salt, oil, and sugar. And so how long it's going to take to adapt is kind of an individual thing, but somewhere between like 30 and 120 days for salt, oil, and sugar. And I like, some people like to rip the Band-Aid off all at once, and other people like to just take it off a little bit at a time. So do what's right for your personality, and give up the salt. And eventually the food tastes really good.
Today, my side dish was just steamed broccoli, just plain old steamed broccoli. And I opened the cupboard and thought, what am I going to put on my steamed broccoli? Because we were in a hurry getting ready for our lives that we were doing this afternoon. And so I was just kind of throwing something together quickly, and magical stardust solved my problem. It was right there, front and center. So I sprinkled that on my broccoli and steamed it, and had some
it was perfect.
Had some very tasty broccoli to go along with the rest of my meal. So,
and that's what Tom calls the Well Your World salt substitute. That's Stardust, he calls it.
Yeah, that's my name. That's not theirs. I probably am making some kind of infringement there. Please forgive me. So,
but
anyway.
it will really help you get past that. And we have a video all about why to go SOS free and what you can use instead of salt. And there's tons of seasonings that you can use, and lemon juice and lime juice and flavored vinegars and fresh herbs and lots of things that you can use. And then you will actually be able to taste the sodium that's in the natural food. So things like celery. Celery just naturally has more sodium in it than other vegetables, and so it can add a salty flavor to things for you, as well as Swiss chard. Swiss chard naturally has a higher sodium content. So you can include celery and Swiss chard, chop them up, and put them in a lot of your dishes. That will help, as well as the seasonings that we talked about. Another question.
Yeah, this is away from the seasoning topic a little bit, but it does affect us. Tova's asking, how does Tammy gear up for walking in the rain? I often get caught in the rain here in South Florida, and it's no fun. Plus, it takes 3 days for her sneakers to dry out. So we geared up with, from REI, Marmot raincoats. And if it's really raining and we really want to still go, we have rain pants. We just let our walking...
And our hiking shoes.
And our hiking shoes are Gore-Tex, and so they are, it's like we're going to go on a hike in the mountains, and you go prepared in case it rains. We just throw our mountain gear on and we go. Now, the last year or so, we've not really had much rain.
We're in a drought.
We're in a little bit of a drought, so we'll be happy if we have to gear up and wear our rain gear again. That will be a good day. We did do one of our Sunday morning walk and talks in the rain. I had plastic bags over everything.
That was so hard to do.
And it was a little bit of a struggle to manage that, but I would probably do an umbrella next time to protect our camera gear. So anyway, and Reeves said she dialed in because her ears were burning. She knew you were talking about her.
That was so funny that she came on just as I was talking about Your World.
She was saying nice things.
I always say nice things about Reeves.
For all of you that are, any of you that are new here, we do have in the show notes, we have our landing page custom link that Dylan and Reeves put together for us, willyourworld.com/nutmeg. And when you see Tammy's face and Dylan's is there too. Reeves, I don't know. I don't think your picture and my picture aren't on that page. We'll have to work on that. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, now you're
going to make her feel bad. She's going to feel like she's got to add you to it.
No. It's Tammy's face is important, not mine. Okay. So did we answered the question about the rain gear?
I think so.
Okay, I'll let you proceed. I was hanging on that one, and it was stalling my scroll, so I wanted to keep scrolling. Yeah,
and I just want to say for the question about the miso, that's going to be an individual choice. So if you're trying to lose weight, or you have hypertension or heart disease, or I don't know, health issues, good thing to have a discussion with a plant-based doctor about that and find out what would be right for you, and depending on what your goals are. You're not on camera.
Okay, well, now you have to watch what you're saying because Dylan's on here now too. Were your ears burning too, Dylan?
They probably were. We were talking about you, but all nice things, you guys. All nice things.
All right.
Yeah, we've got to do a collaboration again because that was really fun.
What's next on your notes here? What do you got?
Okay, so the next thing is I got an email about traveling and how to transport the creamy balsamic salad dressing, which for those of you who are new, we have a wonderful salad dressing that you can make. It is based with beans. It doesn't have any nuts in it, so it's very low calorie density, but you would never know it was made with beans, and it's a creamy balsamic salad dressing. The recipe is on the blog at nutmegnotebook.com. So she's going to be traveling from LA to Denver in the near future and having to go back and forth several times. And so she's wondering how can she take the creamy balsamic salad dressing with her and on an airplane. So if you have it as a liquid, it's going to be counted as part of your 3 ounces of liquid that you're allowed to take on. And you can freeze it. It will freeze. And upon thawing, it can separate a little bit, but I would just get a little mini whisk that you could take with you so that after it thaws out, you can just beat it with a little mini whisk and have it be okay again. So if it's frozen, you can get it through TSA. And so, because it won't be a liquid, it'll be a solid, and it can just keep everything else cold that's in your lunch bag or your backpack or your carry-on. If you want to pack it in your suitcase, you did have a suggestion of maybe just getting a little cooler bag and putting the blue ice in there and packing it in your suitcase, and that would work. You could go ahead and freeze it and not have to worry about a bunch of blue ice, because your flight probably won't be that long from LA to Denver, and so that would work. And if you aren't going to have a blender available where you're going to get, because I was going to say, like, maybe if you're staying in like an Airbnb, you could just, you know, take some beans with you and some vinegar with you and make it when you're there. So the other thing that you can do is you could not have to worry about that, and you could order these little travel size bottles of vinegar from California Balsamic, and these can go through TSA. It will count, it's 3 ounces, and it will count towards your liquids that you're allowed to take through. Or you could put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in your suitcase, and, you know, pack like the bubble wrap or something, or your socks, or stick them in your shoes with some socks around them so that they don't get broken open. But these are really nice to take with you traveling. And so if you're going to be there for a few days, these are really great to put on your salads. And they come in lots of different flavors as well. I just grabbed a couple bottles just to show you, but whatever, you know, flavors you like. So that would be an option as well. And if you're going to take a salad with you for your lunch that day, you could go ahead and put the dressing on it, and it would be okay for, you know, a couple of hours. You would do okay. And if anybody else has any suggestions, please put them in the comment section for us as well. Yes, Tom.
New question from Tresaris. Is eating canned fruit in its own fruit juice okay for weight loss?
Yeah, it should be fine. That should be fine.
Okay, there's not a sugar, getting too much sugar.
Well, if it's in its own juice,
yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't drink the juice.
I think if you were getting something, to make sure something that's not prepared that has sugar added to the juice, that would sneak up on you and would not be optimal.
But drinking the liquid that's in it could add a lot of extra calories. Frozen fruit would probably be a better option, because you wouldn't have the juice.
Okay. Kathy is asking a couple of questions. Let's just take care of Terry's real quick. Tammy's drinking beet juice. I talked about that a little bit earlier in the chat feed. And that's from NutriGardens, and there is a link down in the show notes for NutriGardens. We are affiliates of theirs. And if you look up in the scroll, there is a Nutmeg Notebook Live where we talk about beverages, or if you just do a YouTube search, Nutmeg Notebook Beverages, we did a whole video on healthy beverages that you can drink, and Beet Boost is one of the best ones. So I think it was number 68. It's up in the chat feed.
Wow, you even know what number it was? Wow, I'm impressed.
I had to Google it. You know what? I Googled Nutmeg Notebook Beverages, and it came right up. It's amazing how Google works. Okay, now, the question I was working on, I think this is another video about plateaus. Do we have a video about getting out of a plateau?
We do.
And how would we search that? Nutmeg Notebook.
Plateaus.
Is it why I'm not losing weight, or?
Well, that could be the why I'm not losing weight on a plant-based diet would be good. And then we also have one about plateaus.
So Google Nutmeg Notebook weight loss plateau, or Nutmeg Notebook not losing weight. Either one of those will take you to both of those videos, and they both revolve around the same subject. And Tammy takes a deep dive on the subject matter. Very informational. You will learn a lot from that. I encourage you to go there if you're stuck on a plateau.
Also, watch the sequencing with calorie density video, because that is
how you break a plateau.
All the basic principles of the right way to eat. So it's very important to learn about calorie density and sequencing your meals, which is simply eating the lowest calorie density foods first to activate the stretch receptors in your stomach so that you have less room for the higher calorie density foods, but you're not cutting back on the amount of food you eat, because I talked about this in our Facebook Live this morning. We all eat about the same amount of food individually day after day. So Tom probably eats a pound or more food than I do because he's a man and he just eats a larger quantity of food. So let's say he eats about maybe 4 pounds of food today. I don't weigh my food, so I don't know for sure, but maybe I eat about 3 pounds of food a day. And we habitually do that day after day after day. There's a kind of a set point of how many pounds of food we eat to feel full and satisfied. And so if I want to lose weight without feeling deprived, then what I need to do is still be able to eat the 3 pounds of food a day. So if I just lower the calorie density of my food choices and eat more of the low calorie density foods, which would be the fresh vegetables, non-starchy vegetables and fruit, I can still eat 3 pounds of food a day and I will still feel full and satisfied, but I will have just naturally reduced my caloric intake without feeling deprivation. And so watch that video, sequencing with calorie density. I got another, I think it was on Facebook, a question, I think that's where it came from, about asking if I would be able to convert my recipes that are for a pressure cooker, an air fryer, or using a high-speed blender into recipes that don't require those expensive kitchen appliances for people. And here's the trouble with that. I do understand that not everyone can afford to purchase all of those different appliances. So my problem is when I have perfected a recipe for the pressure cooker, I have made it multiple times to get it just right, to figure it out. And then, you know, our refrigerator or our freezer at that point is like very full of whatever that recipe is, and I don't want to make it anymore, and I need to move on to the next thing, and so I don't have time to go back and experiment and figure out how to take that pressure cooker recipe and make it a stovetop recipe. Now there are some recipes like the mashed potatoes. Well, you know, people know how to just boil the potatoes on top of the stove, and so instead of cooking them in the pressure cooker, you could just cook them on top of the stove like you normally do. In a lentil loaf recipe, I cook my lentils in the pressure cooker. So instead of doing that, then you could do them on the stovetop, however you normally cook lentils. And you can just look on the package and see what they suggest for cooking the lentils. And so then you could cook the lentils for that just on the stovetop. So if you were going to take and convert an Instant Pot recipe for like a soup, let's say, to a stovetop recipe, if the recipe for the Instant Pot, let's say hypothetically it takes 15 minutes to cook, you would triple that time to cook it on the stovetop, approximately. So instead of 15 minutes in the pressure cooker, you would want to aim for cooking it about 45 minutes. Now, when you're cooking something in the pressure cooker, you don't have a lot of evaporation because it has that tight seal on it. And so we need less liquid in there than if you're cooking it on the stovetop. So if you're converting it to stovetop, just know that you may need to add more water or more broth to it, because on the stovetop, you're not going to have a lid on it and you're going to have more evaporation. And so it might require more liquid. If you Google or whatever search engine you have, if you do a search for how to convert pressure cooker recipes to stovetop, you might find the reverse of that. You might find people giving suggestions on how to take a stovetop recipe and convert it to an Instant Pot recipe. And so you would just, you know, switch that. And so you might be able to find some information by doing that. So I'm sorry, I just don't have time to experiment. And, you know, like some people write and say, oh, could you figure out how I can make that in the slow cooker? And I just don't have time to experiment with recipes in multiple ways. I'm not done with this particular one. For air fryer recipes, you can get a similar result if you have a convection oven, if you have that option on your oven, or on your toaster oven if you have a convection. If not, you can try using the broiler and just watch things really carefully, and you can achieve a similar, it won't be exactly the same, but you can achieve a decent and similar result. So my parents, they have an air fryer now, but the last time I visited them, they didn't have an air fryer, and I would make the Japanese sweet potato croutons just in my mom's oven using the broiler setting. And then there's, you know, some different air racks that you can get that you can just use in your oven, or you can, you know, make a makeshift one yourself. You can take a cookie sheet and you can put a baking rack on top of it and put your potatoes on that, and that will give you like air circulation, and, you know, should help you get a crispier result if you try to make the oven air fries. That could work. Now, as far as a high-speed blender goes, so since I don't use nuts in my recipes, you probably could make a decent salad dressing, because mine is bean-based. The creamy balsamic dressing is bean-based. My chipotle nacho cheese sauce is not made with nuts. It is made with potatoes and carrots. So if you have a regular blender, you could probably make those two items in that. I have never tried making them in a food processor. I don't know if you have a food processor. So a food processor might also work. The high-speed blender gives us a super smooth and silky consistency, but I think that you can still get a decent result in a regular blender. And if anybody watching has a blender that works well for those recipes, that's much less expensive than the high-powered blenders, I would love it if you would put that in the comments. I know that there are some different, the Bullet and some different blenders out there that might work. If you have recipes that call for nuts, then it's soaking the nuts ahead of time for a long period of time, or using boiling water and soaking the nuts will help them get a creamy consistency in a standard blender. But so if anybody has any alternatives for the high-speed blender, that would be great.
Okay, couple of things. Wanda is on the chat feed here, and she just sent me a courtesy text that if Wanda is with the National Health Association that publishes the Health Science magazine, and I'm reading the text on my watch here, so I'm not trying to be Dick Tracy. Maybe I am Dick Tracy.
Maybe you are Dick Tracy.
And it just went away.
Uh-oh.
July 16th. If you sign up by July 16th, that gets you on the roster for the Health Science magazine, which is ad-free, chock full of amazing plant-based information, doctor information, recipes, all kinds of articles. Tammy's been in a couple of previous issues. And
I think Faith Scott's going to be
in this one. So anyway, July 16th is the publisher's target date to get you on the list, so that before it goes to press or goes to the mailbox, you can get a copy. So thank you for letting us know that, Wanda.
And Wanda, if you want to put the link in the comment section for people to go to sign up for that magazine. It's like, you know, it's a wonderful magazine full of information that if you're whole food plant-based, you would want to read the articles. And then all of the recipes are also SOS free from a wonderful array of plant-based chefs. And so, and you also get access to all of the back issues online, which is really wonderful. You could read for years.
Yeah. A couple of questions I've been holding here in the chat scroll, because I'm not at the bottom, I'm up a ways. There was a question about steaming broccoli in the Instant Pot, and also zucchini. I eat a lot. I eat more broccoli than you do as a rule, because I like to add it to my steamed vegetable soup. And I did for a long time put it in on top with the mushrooms on the top of my bin full of vegetables I was steaming, but it would come out a bit mushy. So as of late, I've taken to not putting the broccoli in there. I use what's those white bowls? Are those 2 cups?
Corral.
The Corrals, no, what size are they? Are those 4 cups? 4
Probably.
cup Corral bowls?
Probably.
I kind of top off a 4-cup Corral bowl, put the little microwave lid on it, and zap it for a minute in the microwave, because I kind of want it blanched. I still want it to be a little bit crispy, and I just couldn't pull that off in the IP. Now, if I was traveling, I would cook it in whatever, and I would eat it however it comes out. But here at home, I've not been putting broccoli. Now, she's the zucchini eater, and I've not really seen you put that in the IP either.
No.
In the Instapot. So, yeah, they tend to get mushy, so we tend not to, but if you're traveling, cook them any way you can.
You could do 0 minutes.
It still doesn't have the same texture.
It's still mushy.
Yeah, so
What if you did low pressure? I wonder if it would work on low pressure rather than high pressure.
Well, I haven't had time to do that experiment.
I know. What about steam? If you use the steam?
I use steam. That's what I use.
That's what you use.
I use steam for 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
For the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm cooking potatoes down at the bottom. So
if anybody has a solution to that in the comments, feel free to.
There was some discussion.
And what did people say? I'm curious.
That they're using the Instapot and whatnot. So.
On 0
I
minutes?
can't move the scroll here because I'm another question. If I move the scroll, I'm going to lose it.
Okay.
Sandra is asking, I have been trying to batch prep salads and having a problem with romaine lettuce turning brown in just a couple of days. Any suggestions? Not sure what is happening. Thank you. Romaine lettuce is a fickle thing.
It is.
And usually we do pretty well. We had a batch last week that started turning brown. Does it matter how dry you pat it after you wash it?
I don't know. Sometimes, I prep them the same week after week after week. But we
Once
did
in a while.
Yeah, we did have some that just turned brown. So it could have been old. It could have not been chilled properly before we bought it. Who knows?
Yeah, so romaine turning brown is not user error. Unless you put it in really wet or something. Tammy rinses ours, lays it out on a towel, pats it dry on top, lets it sit for a few minutes so that she's not introducing
I roll it in a towel.
Yeah.
I take it and I roll, because I saw Dr. Furman do that. I saw he has a video on YouTube where he showed how he preps romaine. And so I lay it on a towel and then I roll it up in the towel.
That is a common question, Sandra. And I would say 8 times out of 10, our prepared salads, batch prep salads, do really, really well. And if they, and they're lasting 6, 7, 8 days, maybe the ends of the romaine gets a little bit of rust on it. And if it's not, mushy, I just go ahead and eat it because it's just oxidation. But last week we had that one bad batch. So the romaine gods do not treat all heads of romaine equally.
That's right.
The romaine world is not a just place. So, just all you can do is dry it. Make sure you're going in dry. Buy as fresh as you can. We check the dates. We rummage in the pile at Costco to make sure we're getting the most recent date. I'm one of those guys that's down at the bottom of the pile, digging out of the bottom to make sure, because it's a day newer. So yeah, I'm one of those people. That's why you see half empty boxes at the bottom, because we're checking dates. So.
And in the spring, the organic romaine was so buggy. Do you remember that?
You stopped buying it for a while and did something else.
Oh, yeah. And then I was like, I may not go back to including romaine because I was just so frustrated. Yeah. And I have cut down on how much I'm putting in the salads because if you watch our speedy salad batch prep video, you can see I have it down to where it takes me 30 minutes to make 14 salads, and I don't cut up the romaine. I do, I cut the root end off, and then I just cut a wedge of the romaine, and I put it in the bottom of the salad container. That way, if it goes bad, we can just pull that bad romaine out easily because it's, all together. And then we can discard it.
There's some other bottom of the pile
people too.
I'm a bottom of the pile kind of guy.
Yeah, so I like Tom to go grocery shopping with me so that he can dig through stuff and he can lift off the boxes on top and get to the boxes underneath so that we can get the best date. Because what I do is the day that we go shopping, I look at, like we usually shop on Thursday or Friday. This week it was Friday and Saturday, but I look at the following week, what is the last day that I need these salads to last to? And so hypothetically, I'm going to say it's the 10th of the month, then we look to make sure that whatever we're buying doesn't expire until the 10th or later.
And we pray regularly to the romaine gods.
There you go.
Reeves is
To
praise
please be
to the
good
romaine
to us.
gods.
Please be good to
Especially
us.
on Wednesday night before we go to Costco on Thursday.
That's right. And we discovered going on Wednesday night is not a good idea.
You talk about mayhem. You get into the produce department, people have no respect for the produce piles. Stuff is just thrashed in there in boxes willy-nilly, and
it is,
and bags ripped open. It's like, come on.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of choice left in the evening at our Costco.
Yeah.
And so by evening, it's been decimated.
And some of those bags, I go, well, how many people have already touched that bag and thrown it aside?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Triclary says, an additional question, not sure if this was answered earlier or no, is canned fruit, oh no, we didn't answer this. Not sure if this was canned fruit in fruit juice okay for weight loss. Yeah, we addressed that a little bit ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink the juice because that would add it could add a lot of extra calories.
We didn't talk about canned fruit specifically, so that is...
and I think that frozen fruit would maybe be a better option.
Yeah,
because
make sure the canned fruit does not have sugar added.
Yeah, because even the when it says in fruit juice,
it's just empty calories, Jesse's saying.
Yeah, it is empty calories. So I think frozen fruit would be better. The canned fruit, fresh fruit first, fresh or frozen fruit first, and canned fruit would be my last option. And I wouldn't drink the juice because I think it's going to add extra calories.
Yeah. Okay. I think maybe I'm caught up on the scroll. If I've missed anybody.
Did anybody answer about an option for a lower cost blender, or what to use if you don't have a blender? I don't know how, any thoughts on being able to make any of the sauces or the salad dressings? I mean, there are some salad dressings where you wouldn't have to have a blender.
Dylan's doing stuff with the NutriBullet. He did He did that yesterday on his live show.
So you can make smaller batches of things with the NutriBullet.
Or that was his cooking show. That was his cooking club show.
Yeah, but it was open to everybody yesterday. So let's talk about that too.
Okay.
Dylan from Your World is doing a free month of his cooking show. So you can go to Your World, wellyourworld.com, and you can sign up right now for a month free. They just did a show yesterday that's on YouTube that's open to the public that you can watch. And then there will be another class, not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. So two weeks from yesterday, there will be another cooking class that will be free. And Dylan and Reeves make wonderful, usually they have a theme for their cooking classes. They do 2 cooking classes a month. And if you want to learn how to do SOS-free, whole food, plant-based cooking, that is a great cooking class. And you can get it for free for this month. And I believe it's like...
Randy says not free.
It's not free? For the month. No, for this month, the month of July.
As a promotional
It's
thing.
a promotion that is free for the month of July.
Because normally that class is $15 a month.
Normally it's $15 a month, and you get 2 cooking classes, and you get access to all of the past cooking classes and the recipes. So yesterday's cooking class is on the Your World YouTube show, and so you can go to their channel, Well Your World, and you can watch the video, the cooking video from yesterday. And then if you think that it's something that you want, go on and sign up, and you'll be able to join. The next cooking class will be free. And then if you want to continue in August, you need to sign up for the monthly subscription to it. Yes.
Tiffany is asking, do you recall what your first plant-based meal was when you first decided to transition? When you saw the Dr. Furman, when you saw the Dr. Furman special and you went, I'm going plant-based. What I remember she did was she started digging into recipes, either online or purchased books, and she was cooking up everything. And she was starting her cooking day like at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and would be in here just cooking up a ruckus until 5:30 or 6.
I don't remember.
And then a few weeks into it, she said, I cannot keep doing this. And that's kind of where batch prep and simple plant-based and finding Chef AJ's program turned everything around for us. But her first plant-based meals were like conversions of standard American meals.
I was using Dr. Furman's
book,
Eat to Live book, and I was cooking out of it initially because he had some food plans in there, some menu ideas.
So one of the Dr. Furman meals probably would be the closest.
It was the salad. I know because we adopted his. Salad is the main meal, and so we adopted that, and Tom was agreeable to do that with me. So that may have been one of the first things that we did, and I was making some kind of a balsamic dressing, but it had nuts in it. But what the very first meal was, I don't know, and I didn't have an Instagram account yet, so I wasn't posting on that, and I didn't have the Nutmeg Notebook Facebook page yet. So I might have something in the blog from that time frame that would clue us in. But I know I was making soups and veggie burgers, and so I went plant-based like in March, and then in May, one of Tom's brothers was having a double organ transplant. And so we did a road trip, and we went to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And I cooked for like 3 days. Do you remember that? And I made everything to take with us. I made veggie burgers and some kind of black bean brownies. And I'm sure they were all Dr. Furman recipes at that time. And took everything with us. And then we would just stop like at a truck stop or someplace and get out our cooler and eat our food, because I was all in. I had, We
did not need or stop at any Greasy Spoon restaurants.
No.
So, okay. What else do you have left?
But that's interesting. I wonder what my first meal was. Now that makes me wonder. That's all that I have.
Okay.
So,
so
let's talk about, I'm curious, like, how was everybody's 4th of July? Because we just had that holiday. So we were real fortunate. We had the family over. So our son and his girlfriend came, and then our daughter and her husband and their 3 little ones came. And so we just had a fun family day all day. And we had gotten together on Friday night, because Friday night is our family night. And so everybody had come on Friday night as well. And so but it was really hot. It was just like, it was too hot to take the kids outside, even in the pool. They're just too little. And so we just stayed inside and we had fun. And that was really great. And then we were all exhausted on Monday. But it was fun. And it was kind of a crazy week. We were off schedule all week because it was just a weird schedule.
Yeah, Monday seemed like Sunday even.
Yeah, and so we've been messed up all week about, like, what day is it and what do we have going today and that kind of thing. So.
And then let's talk also, so far as looking forward, are we going to be live then in 2 weeks again from today?
Yeah, we'll see. That is my birthday weekend. So we have to decide. We'll have to kind of see how things are going.
Okay, so we don't know if we're going to be live this coming Sunday or not.
No, not this coming Sunday. We won't.
Okay. So, and your birthday's on Thursday the 23rd.
Because we have company.
Yes.
We will have company here. So we
Yeah.
won't be going live this coming Sunday
So
for
for the
sure.
moment, the next live would be at least 2 weeks out.
Yes, and we
Okay.
won't be doing a Facebook Live next Sunday either because
Yeah.
we won't be able to go for a walk because we'll be busy with company.
Right.
And so, and then we're unsure the following weekend will be my birthday weekend.
So
and
go
we
to
don't know.
nutmegnotebook.com, sign up for the newsletter, and then you will know shortly after we know when the live is going to air.
That's right.
So, and then did we want to visit briefly about what we're doing over on Amazon?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about
Okay.
that?
Amazon has different programs, and we are part of their live video program. So you're starting to see some of that show up as tidbits in the email or as down in the body of the newsletter. I talked about today's a little bit. Those videos will be product-centered videos. They will be they're pretty free-flowing on that platform, but it's amazon.com/live. And if you go to our Amazon shop page again, this is just like going to the blog and follow there, and then we get a product we get our hands on, and we want to do a review about it. Then that will primarily first go up on Amazon. Going back 3 years, I can't tell you how many folks in the plant-based community own Breville Smart Oven Airs today because of that machine sitting right back over there. Because Tammy got it, and then Chef AJ had to get it, and then Dylan had to get it,
Shada
and then
got
Shada
it.
had to get it. So, and then we caught up with the Crocs along the way. They already had the Ninja Foodie. And so then when Amazon asked us, did we want to do a review on the Ninja Foodie? It's like, well, we got a Breville, but yeah, we'll check it out. We've heard good things, because Brian and Jessica had said good things about their foodie. So we had that sent to us and did the video on it. So, we try to give information on things that we know solve a problem, make our life easier, make cooking more fun, whatever.
And we only promote things that we really believe in, that we really like.
Yeah. So
And things that we really use in our kitchen, because we get offers every week for people want to send us free stuff.
yeah, and sometimes it's good stuff, but we've already got something else
Yeah.
that fills that need, and so we don't
turn it down.
we don't need to go there. So
Yeah.
but anyway, so that's what's going on with that. If you see something going on Amazon Live, oh, I didn't finish my sentence. Yeah, go there and sign up to subscribe to that, and then if we do,
Go to Amazon.
go to Amazon.com, shop Nutmeg Notebook, and follow there. It's another place to click the button, and then because that will be, kitchen gear oriented information at that point.
Right.
And the Amazon Lives, they work like this. They're interactive. They're in real time,
They have a chat.
and there's chat feed and
And I did a cooking demo today
And-
on it because
and
they
it-
told me I could do
yeah,
a cooking
and
demo.
where there's deals to be had, I will find those. I go looking every time. I haven't found one. We did have a lot of things going on for Prime Days. We did participate pretty heavily in Prime Days and helped a lot of people with Instapots and air fryers on Prime Day.
We
So yeah, like over 50 people got some really good deals on Instapots on Prime Day.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's fun. It is part of how we support our channel. What falls out of that. So thank you for your support there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I haven't been looking at the chat feed.
You better.
I'm gonna check it out here.
Oh, somebody's talking about buffalo tofu. What? Where do you get that recipe? That sounds good.
Oh, instead of buffalo wings, spicy tofu.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Um,
I like tempeh even better
somebody
than
did
tofu.
hot tofu, something or another. Did Brittany or
I don't
somebody
know.
do something on
I don't know.
buffalo hot tofu wings?
I've made
substitute?
some like buffalo tempeh That is really good. But that was years ago when I had the wheat wrapper that I could use for it before I knew that I had the gluten sensitivity.
Yeah.
And so now that's not an option. But I could maybe do it in like a Swiss chard leaf and steam that and use that as a wrap. That could be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so who makes the buffalo tofu? Is it Reeves that makes it? That could be good.
Let's see. Oh, somebody asked again what you're drinking. That's Beet Boost. I just saw that real quickly in the scroll.
I don't always get to read the chat.
Yeah,
And
Reeves says happy birthday. That's coming up.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's coming up soon.
The 23rd, July 23rd is coming up. My dad and I both have birthdays in July. So that's always fun.
Okay. All right.
I think that's it. What time is it?
Old school Star Trek lovers. What's that in the feed? I'm a Star Trek person.
Oh, Tom loves Star Trek.
Okay. All right. I think we are going to call it good at this point.
I think so.
We've been on for a little over an hour. So.
Yeah, this was fun though, you guys. So remember, we won't be on next Sunday. And so we won't be doing the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live because we will have people staying with us. And so, and we're unsure about the following week. It's just going to depend.
They're talking about the Borg and being assimilated.
Oh,
yeah.
All kinds of Star Trekky stuff.
Look
at him light up.
Is that what we say in the plant-based world?
Look at him light up about that.
Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. So.
All right. Well, this is fun. It's been great hanging out with you guys. We miss you when we don't do a live. So just know that, we're thinking about you even when we don't do a live. It always is weird on Sunday at 4 o'clock if we're not going live. Mm-hmm. So I'm Tammy.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you get healthy and stay healthy. One meal at a time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Bye, Reeves, Dylan, Wanda, Jesse, and Randy. Thank you.
Thank you.
For helping out. Mm-hmm. And Tiffany was here too.
Well, thank you, Tiffany, for being here as well.
Oh, Jesse, okay, these are last minute questions. The scroll's going really fast.
Okay.
You mentioned a $1 a month special program for Chef AJ's.
I saw something about it on the internet. I would go to her.
She got answered. Say yes, they did. Okay.
Okay, they did have some. I thought and then after I said it, I thought, "Woo, what if I got that wrong?"
Yeah.
But
the scroll's just going since we're signing off. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
You know what they need to do? You guys need to start your own Facebook page so you have a place to all hang out together.
A Nutmeg Notebook Facebook page?
Well, no, I don't have time to moderate a private Facebook page, but they should have a Facebook group so that they could just keep chatting and have it going. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, that would be fine.
That would be good.
We'll have to work on a platform for that.
Okay, yeah, I don't have time to moderate another Facebook page.
Okay, all right.
Not me. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great week.
All right, bye-bye.